All right, let's talk about Amber Guyger's murder conviction now. It pulled the curtain back on how some Dallas police officers operate. It also sparked concern from our next contributor. Here's Cydney Walker from Coffee and Politics 101 with My Voice, My Opinion.
Our police departments become militarized. All PDs are trained for center mass shootings using assault rifles, flashbang grenades, and other tools to maintain law and order in the cities. Some in the community feel this has made the ordinary citizen an enemy of police rather than protected and served. Criminals were outperforming police, which caused a change in the tools that were given and used, so now we're seeing more casualties in the media as a result of this change. PDs are not held to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, even though their weapons and tactics have been upgraded to match our armed forces. Would instituting such oversight cause a further decline in people choosing to become an officer as a profession? We still have young adults joining the military despite the UCMJ being in place that allows for prosecution if a crime has been committed. Superficial concerns about public safety are real concerns about public safety. I'm Cydney Walker, and this is My Voice, My Opinion.